Michael, what's today's audio?
Today we're comparing SOULNOTE's A-0 and SMSL's PA200.
So you received SOULNOTE's A-0? Master, you want to hear the comparison between the A-0 and the PA200 too, right?
Yes, I want to hear it.
How did the A-0 sound?
To be honest, I couldn't really tell what was so great about the A-0. SOULNOTE's advertising says it has soul-stirring sound, but my soul wasn't stirred at all.
That's too bad. What equipment did you use?
The audio source was Amazon Music, the network streamer was LinkPlay's WM Ultra, the DAC was SMSL's SU9 Pro, and the speakers were B&W's 705S3. We compared the SOULNOTE A-0 and SMSL's PA200 amplifiers. The DAC and amplifier were connected via an RCA cable. The A-0 used the round insulators that came with it.
What are the specs of the two?
Before that, there was something about the A-0 that caught my attention.
Something that caught your attention?
The humming sound from the transformer.
What kind of sound is it?
It makes a humming sound when there's no sound. It seems to depend on the power environment where it's installed. Once you start playing music, the humming noise isn't noticeable, but it's not very pleasant.
Can't the humming noise be prevented?
It can, but you need to prepare a separate power strip. I haven't gone that far. Getting back to the topic, here's a simple spec sheet. The output is 10 watts for the A-0 and 85 watts for the PA200.
The output of the A-0 is still low, isn't it?
I was also worried that the output of the A-0 was too low before using it, but it turned out to be no problem at all. I think 10 watts is sufficient unless you're playing music at extremely high volumes.
What's the deal with all these amplifiers that boast high output?
I suppose they want to highlight the impressive output figures as a way to make them stand out. It's like a car speedometer that goes up to 300 kilometers per hour. No one actually drives that fast, right? So, I think it's best to take amplifier output as a rough reference.
I see.
The SN ratio is 115 dB for the A-0 and 109 dB for the PA200, so the A-0 has a higher SN ratio. However, when I actually listened to the sound, the PA200 felt like it had a higher SNR than the A-0.
Why is that?
Maybe the measured SNR doesn't reflect the actual sound. I'm not sure about this part. The THD is 0.2% for the A-0 and 0.003% for the PA200, so the PA200 is superior.
There's a significant difference in THD, but does that reflect in the sound?
THD, total harmonic distortion, is used as an indicator of sound qualities, purity, and transparency. To me, the purity and transparency of A-0 feels significantly inferior compared to PA200. This might be where the difference in THD values comes into play.
By the way, what is THD?
THD is an indicator that shows how much harmonic distortion, second, third, fourth, etc., is present relative to the original sound, fundamental frequency. It is expressed in percentages or decibels. For example, THD 0.01% indicates that 0.01% of harmonic distortion is present in the overall sound. It is unclear how low THD needs to be acceptable, but it is said that values below 0.1% are barely perceptible to humans.
The THD of the A-0 was 0.2%, right?
That's right. A value of 0.2% is considered low in terms of performance. This likely accounts for the difference between the A-0 and the PA200. The RCA input has 2 channels for the A-0 and 1 channel for the PA200. The PA200 is a power amplifier that can also control volume, so it only has 1 channel. The XLR input has 2 channels for the A-0 and only 1 channel for the PA200. When using XLR inputs for stereo playback with the PA200, 2 units are required. The unique feature of the A-0 is that it has 2 pre-out terminals. As explained previously, these terminals are necessary when using the A-0 as a preamp. A remote control is included only with the PA200. The A-0 requires manual volume adjustment on the unit itself. The dimensions are 430 by 109 by 418 millimeters for the A-0 and 220 by 45.9 by 175 millimeters for the PA200. The A-0 is full-size, while the PA200 is half-size audio.
The sizes are quite different.
The PA200 is a Class D amplifier. When space is limited, the smaller size offers a significant advantage. The weight of the A-0 is 8 kilograms, while the PA200 weighs 1.44 kilograms, also showing a significant difference.
Based on size and weight, the A-0 seems like a more professional audio system with better sound quality.
That's the interesting thing about audio. Appearance and sound quality don't always align. The retail price for the A-0 is 128,700 yen, while the PA200 is 65,000 yen.
The A-0 is about twice as expensive. How did the sound of the 2 units compare specifically?
Compared to the PA200, the A-0 has significantly lower high-frequency resolution. It feels like sounds above a certain frequency aren't coming through. The high frequencies that are audible with the PA200 are not audible with the A-0. Additionally, the A-0 has a more muffled overall sound. I was expecting the A-0 to have a certain sound quality due to its non-feedback amplifier, but it was completely disappointing.
Are non-feedback amplifiers not very good?
Yes, most major manufacturers use negative feedback. Considering that most manufacturers do not use non-feedback amplifiers, they must be difficult to make.
How did the A-0 look and feel?
The front panel of the A-0 is very impressive. It has a high-end feel. On the other hand, the top panel is very cheap looking. It seems to be a simple design that doesn't use vibration damping, but it would be nice if the quality of the other parts besides the front panel were a little better. Also, the included feet are just metal. Compared to the amplifiers I've used before, these also feel cheap. One thing that's hard to understand is the volume control. There's a slight indentation on the volume control, and you have to judge the volume based on the position of the indentation. This indentation is hard to see. The volume itself is a click type, so the operation feels fine.
Could the XLR terminals and feet be replaced on the A-0?
Yes, I didn't think the sound quality was good with the RCA connection, so I tried other settings. First, I changed the connection between the DAC and the A-0 from RCA to XLR.
Did the sound change?
I felt the SN ratio improved slightly with XLR compared to RCA. Next, I changed the feet from round insulators to pointed spikes. By the way, the A-0 doesn't come with spike mounts, so you need to prepare them separately.
Does the spike change the sound?
Compared to the round ones, the spikes seem to improve the SN ratio slightly. However, Neither the XLR connection nor the foot replacement made a dramatic difference. It was just a slight improvement in sound quality.
The A-0 was disappointing. It's twice the price of the PA200 but doesn't have any notable advantages.
That's true. I was thinking of selling the A-0 right away.
Haven't you tried anything else yet?
I hadn't tried the pre-out function yet.
You're using the A-0 as a preamp, right?
Yeah, when I used the A-0 as a pre-main amp, I couldn't tell the difference. But when I used it as a preamp, it was a complete game changer.
What do you mean?
Everyone, it's almost closing time.
Too bad, it's already this late. I was going to talk about how A-0 really showed its true potential.
Michael, tell me more about the pre-out of A-0 next time.
Sure, let's continue talking about A-0 next week.